Lemonada.
Want to listen to your favorite Lemonada shows without the ads? Subscribe to Lemonada Premium on Apple Podcasts. For just $5.99, you'll get ad-free episodes and exclusive bonus content from shows like this one, Squeezed, as well as Wiser Than Me with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Fail Better with David Duchovny, and so many more. It's a great way to support the work we do and treat yourself to a smoother, uninterrupted listening experience. Just head to any Lemonada show feed on Apple Podcasts and hit subscribe. Make life suck less with fewer ads with Lemonada Premium.
I rented out a small independent theater in our hometown for the birthday party, and it was Cat Video Fest.
That's Tara Kovach. She's describing the 10th birthday party she threw for her daughter, Gracie.
So it was a cat-themed party. We had little cat ears. We had cat bath bombs for everyone. We had pizza and cat cakes. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you.
Gracie is wearing pink sunglasses, purple cat ears, and surrounded by friends and party decorations. Her arms are crossed and she's kind of smiling. It's the perfect aloof stance of a kid who's turning double digits.
And many more! Yay! Happy birthday!
Gracie was 8 when Tara was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. So for Tara, throwing her daughter a birthday party is not something she takes for granted.
I actually wanted to go bigger because I thought, what if this is the last party? What if, I don't know, like, I want her to have the best experience ever. I wanted to rent a limo for her and all of her friends, but she was like, no, I think that's over the top, Mom. And then I thought, you're 10, that's probably right. But you never know. You never know. I think everything I do, I have that in the back of my mind. Am I doing enough just in general? And I know that doesn't, always mean throwing lavish parties or buying things, but, just am I doing enough is always the thing that I have to think about. Am I being there for them enough? Am I listening enough? Am I cuddling them enough? Am I being supportive enough? And that's hard. It's a really hard thing to do, and also not smother them, and let them be their own person.
Parents, really any type of caregiver, often wonder this: am I doing enough? But not all have survived stage 3 cancer and live with the constant worry that it could come back. From Lemonada Media, this is Squeezed. I'm your host, Yvette Nicole Brown. Today, we look at parenting young kids when you're battling cancer. Our guest, Tara Kovach, lives in Juneau, Alaska. She was 47 when she was diagnosed with colon cancer, which meant her already hectic life as a working divorced mom of 2 kids was totally upended. We'll talk about what it was like to parent while going through surgery and chemotherapy and the isolation of surviving that a lot of people don't talk about. On the day Tara and I talk, she's anxious. It's been 9 days since she took a blood test to see if her cancer has returned, and she's still waiting for the results.
I'm literally sick with worry. But I needed to pretend this morning like it was just another day when I was getting my kids ready for school and dropping them off. And I have to hope, of course, that everything will be okay.
School has started for her kids, 5th grade for Gracie, and 2nd grade for her other kid, Callahan. She hides from them that she's on pins and needles waiting for the test results.
I'm having a hard time sleeping, having a hard time concentrating. And everyone just keeps saying, you're going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But, people also said that before I got my diagnosis. Like, oh, no, you're too young. You're not going to have this diagnosis. So you never know. So I also have to prepare myself for, what if it isn't what I want to hear? What am I going to do? And some people think that's not a good thing. My partner says, don't let it enter your mind what you're going to do if you get a negative report. But I have to, because otherwise the anxiety will just swallow me up.
Tara is part of the rise of people younger than 50 getting diagnosed with colorectal cancer, an issue that's been getting worse every year. It's among the top leading causes of cancer deaths for both men and women under 50 in the U.S. Right before Tara was diagnosed with colon cancer in May 2024, her life was just beginning to level out after going through a pretty brutal divorce.
I felt like my life was just getting back on track, and things were just, going really well. I had bought a new house. I had a new partner. The kids were doing really well, and things seemed to be finally leveling out, and everyone seemed to be thriving. And then, I got the diagnosis and everything came crashing down again.
Tara had no symptoms leading up to the diagnosis. It was discovered after a routine doctor's visit.
I went in for my normal annual checkup and I took a stool test, which my doctor had recommended, and it came back showing signs of microscopic blood. So I had a colonoscopy a few weeks later. And I remember my doctor coming back in after I had just woken up and just saying, I'm sorry, over and over again, because he knew, even before the pathology report, that it was cancer.
Her doctor was right. The pathology report confirmed it was cancer. She met with the surgeon, and a surgery was planned for the very next week. School ended 3 days after the colonoscopy, and Tara and her family were supposed to immediately set off on a 3-week vacation to see family in different parts of the country. Meticulous plans had been made, plane tickets bought, all the effort and details that go into planning a vacation. All of that was tossed in the air. Instead, Tara had to tell her kids the terrible news.
My kids at the time were 5 and 8.
Oh, that's young.
So they didn't really have an understanding of what cancer was or how serious it was. So the only conversations we had, were really about that I had something in my body that shouldn't be there, and I needed surgery to take it out. And
how did you tell them? Like, how do you choose the best time to tell your baby something that could be devastating for them?
I tried to make it as comfortable as possible. We had family time in the living room where we kind of snuggle on the couch and read or play video games. And then I let them know that, we'd be having people come to town to visit us because I needed a surgery. And I could tell they were scared. They were worried. They wanted to know what it was exactly that I had in my body that had to be taken out. And, I tried to explain it to them. I had something growing. It was in my digestive tract. That needed to be cut out and sewed back together. But I never used the words cancer because that's not something they would really understand.
To salvage their hopes for a summer vacation, Tara pivoted quickly and instead took her kids to the Great Wolf Lodge in Seattle for a few days. It was hard for Tara to juggle being on vacation while processing her life-changing predicament.
I really tried to be present in the moment, which was very difficult because I was nervous and I just wasn't sure what was going to happen and, if that was going to be one of the last trips that we ever took.
Before we continue, I want to remind you that all of this was happening on an extremely fast timeline. Imagine suddenly finding out you have cancer, scheduling a surgery the following week to remove the cancer, and then jumping on a plane with your kids for a quick trip before that surgery. That sounds a bit crazy, but it also sounds like a parent doing her damn hardest to give her kids something good and memorable.
And, I remember getting hugged really hard and just clenching up because I was so scared that it was hurting something, that it was causing the cancer to move out of where it was.
This idea that hugging might cause the cancer to move may sound foolish to some, but our minds can go to strange places when stressed or scared.
I don't think getting hugged or squeezed makes a difference, but, it's just that your thought in the moment, like, oh my gosh, I don't want anything else to go wrong. It's kind of just where my emotions were and where my brain was at the time.
Tara was dealing with all of these tough emotions against the backdrop of Great Wolf Lodge. If you've never been to Great Wolf Lodge, just know that it's essentially a child's wonderland.
It's a fun place with goofy things like Build-A-Bear and, crazy water slides. Cotton candy machines, and my kids had a really fun time. We all went to a little dance party in the lobby one night in their pajamas, and I just remember them like dancing and smiling and having such a good time, and that made the whole trip worth it.
Tara and her family came home from that trip on a Monday. Her surgery was happening on Wednesday. More about that after the break. Tara had a colon resection surgery, which means they removed a section of her colon, including the part with the tumor, and sewed it back together. She spent 2 nights in the hospital, and her partner was by her side. Friends from out of town stayed at her house with the kids. Other friends helped too, bringing food over and keeping Gracie and Callahan busy.
When I came home from the hospital, they both, were so happy to see me, and they wanted to embrace me, but it was hard because I had to tell them, I have stitches in my stomach. We have to be really careful. And I could tell that they wanted to embrace me, but they were so scared that they were going to hurt me. And that was really heartbreaking and hard. And then, of course, they wanted to see my stitches. So I showed that to them. And my son, who has no filter, immediately said, "Ew, that's gross." And then after they went to their dad's for 3 weeks and came back, my son wanted to see it again because it had started to heal. And I think in his mind, he thought it was actually going to be completely healed. But of course, it was just scar tissue. And he looked at it again and said, "Ew, that's even worse now." And I said, "Okay, well, thanks. You won't be seeing that again."
While Tara was recovering from the surgery, she had to be cautious, especially around her kids.
I couldn't lift anything more than about 10 pounds, and I couldn't let them crawl into bed with me for fear of, maybe getting kicked in the stitches or something like that. So I slept in the living room, and they slept in their rooms.
The surgery revealed that Tara had cancer cells in several of the lymph nodes that were extracted. Doctors then recommended she get 12 rounds of chemotherapy. So while the kids were at their dad's for 3 weeks during the summer, Tara had another surgery to get a port inserted into her chest so the chemo had something to go into. Once the school year started, Tara and her ex-husband had a 1 week on, 1 week off schedule with the kids, which allowed Tara to schedule her chemo on weeks when her kids were with their dad. I've had quite a few friends that have dealt with cancer, and I know no one's journey is the same. But I know chemo is tough, has been tough on everyone that I've talked to. So what was that like for you? And then also with the added pressure of trying to make sure that you don't look sick for your babies, and you want to make sure that when they come back to the house that they're seeing a mom that they can not be scared about. So what was the chemo journey like for you?
Yeah. I started on a Monday, and I would be in the infusion center for at least a few hours, getting the first dose of the chemotherapy treatment. And then they would affix a chemo ball to me so that I would carry it with me.
And what you say a ball, what is it like a plastic? Is it like a saline bag? Like what is it that's attached to you? How heavy is it? Can you cover it? Could you hide it from the kids?
It was pretty hard to hide. The port was right here on my chest, and then the wires would come from the port to the ball. The ball was about the size of a tennis ball, and it was hard plastic, but it would get a little bit smaller as the medication went from there into the port.
Yeah.
So eventually it would be a little bit smaller. But it was something that I had to be, very careful with. Of course, there are very toxic chemicals that you can't spill.
Tara describes it as a ball of essentially poison that she had on her for 2 days. The staff at the infusion center would wear full bodysuits to put it on her, and Tara had special equipment to clean it up if it spilled. Whenever she had the ball on, she had to be hyper vigilant. And even though Tara did the chemo mostly on her off weeks with the kids, it still impacted her time with them. She was more physically drained. She was more susceptible to getting sick, which was a huge issue with kids who were in school, and she avoided most social and community gatherings.
The longer you're on chemotherapy, the harder it is on your system and the more immunosuppressed you are. So the first few times you are going through treatment, you think, wow, this is okay. I can do this. And then it gets harder, and then it gets harder, and then it gets harder. And you're tired, you have brain fog, you have nausea, you have neuropathy.
On top of chemo and parenting, Tara was also working full-time. She works remotely doing public health communications. And while her workplace is very supportive, she didn't have any short-term disability. So Tara had to work in order to keep her health insurance. When she did have time to herself, she took walks, wrote in a journal, and tried her best to keep her anxiety at bay. What about support groups? Are there any support groups available where people can talk to each other about what they're going through?
There is one support group here, but it wasn't something that was very helpful to me.
Yeah.
It was great to connect with people, but most of them had been in remission for, 20 years. So most of them were much older. And then also, even the people who had been in remission more recently were already in retirement age when they were going through their treatment. So they didn't really have a point of reference of having small children or taking care of small children at the same time that they were trying to go through this process, or of working full-time and needing to work full-time in order to keep their health insurance. It was people in different life stages. So I didn't have a lot of connections with folks.
And in the midst of everything, when Tara was halfway through chemo, she got bad news about her mom.
My mom, who is 78 now, fell and broke her hip last year while I was in chemotherapy treatments.
Yikes.
And I wasn't able to travel to help her because, of course, chemotherapy suppresses your immune system. And I just wasn't able to risk being on a plane. My doctor, highly recommended that I not do that because it was right during cold and flu season. So that was really, really hard. She was in the hospital. I have siblings, thank goodness, who were able to be there for her, but it was really hard. I wasn't able to go and see her.
Tara felt squeezed between having her own illness, caring for her kids, and trying to help her aging parent. And since she couldn't be there in person, Tara supported her mom from afar.
I was calling her and sending her flowers and crossword puzzles and things that she could do, in the hospital, helping financially, and, helping to support my sisters.
Yeah.
But it weighs on your heart because you want to be there for your parents, just like you want to be there for your kids.
Yep.
And you feel really helpless when you feel like you should be the caretaker, and yet other people are caring for you.
I mean, it's part of the reason why I wanted to do this podcast, because I'm a caregiver for my dad. And, this age group that we're in is all about being squeezed like a vice grip, and this is the thing. In your situation, you weren't able to help your mom the way you would have wanted to, but then you're squeezed by the guilt. Like there's always something that is the vice grip, right? But I hope you know that your mom would not want you to get sick because you were coming to care for her. And thankfully you had another sibling that could step in, and your dad is there. So I just want you to have a little bit of, you got enough on your mind, basically is what I'm saying. You have enough on your plate already. Guilt cannot fit on that plate. It cannot. So allow me to tell you that your mom is happy you didn't make that trip, because if you had made that trip and something happened to you, she would have never been all right. So, we have to find our way through that. But I know that's part of the therapy dance for me, because I wake up in the morning and just grab my guilt and put it on like a backpack and let's go out in the world, and it's not something that my dad would want for me. I know that. So I'm just sharing that with you as I also say it back to myself.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Tara talks about parenting in the aftermath of chemo.
There's this anxiety that goes along with being in cancer remission that's always there, just under the surface.
Tara completed her chemotherapy last November, the week of Thanksgiving. At that point, her likelihood of not getting cancer again was at 75%. You'd think Tara would have a new lease on life, but it was actually kind of the opposite.
It's still scary as hell. I've talked to a few survivors who have said the same thing, and it is that they weren't prepared for how hard it was going to be after chemotherapy. Because when you're in the process of being treated, when you're having your surgery, when you're seeing your oncologist and you're seeing the infusion nurses and you're seeing your primary care physician, you have a whole team of people who are there for you, who are asking you questions, about your health, your mental health, how things are going. And you're constantly reporting to them. When you're in the fight, when you're doing chemotherapy, you've got a purpose. Your purpose is to get through that. You can't concentrate on anything else besides that fight,
right,
because it's so hard. And then once that's done and you've given your body a few weeks to recover, then you feel very isolated. That's when most people get depressed. And that's when most people have a lot of anxiety issues. You're much more on your own. And when you've never gone through that process, it doesn't necessarily make sense, right? You think, this person, they had cancer. They had it removed.
Cleared.
They should be loving life and celebrating. But it's in that time period that I think most patients, most survivors have a really hard time, because you're not in the clear really until your 5-year mark.
In the cancer community, there's actually a name for this crippling anxiety that Tara describes having. It's called scanxiety. This knowledge that while you may be in remission, you have years of tests and scans left, and any one of them might show that the cancer has returned. For Tara, it definitely impacts how she parents her kids.
I try not to stress and worry about everything being perfect, but every 3 months when I need to go in for my blood tests, and every 6 months when I go in for my scans, anxiety really overpowers me. And I do think, what if the test shows that the cancer is back? And what if this is the last birthday party I get to throw for them? Or what if I'm too sick to walk them to their classroom on the first day of school next year? Yeah. Every time we have an event, I have these thoughts in my brain. And when you get upset at them or if things don't go as planned, you think to yourself, is this what they're going to remember? Because, you never know what they're going to remember. Yeah. And it feels like your heart is just constantly getting squeezed.
Because it's hard to know what stays with kids, Tara recently, while Cal was playing Minecraft, asked him what he remembers.
Do you remember last summer when I had my surgery?
Yeah.
Was that kind of scary?
Not really. So why'd you have surgery in the first place? Something you accidentally ate something you weren't supposed to?
No, I just had something growing in my body that wasn't supposed to be there.
That's exactly what I said.
So they needed to take it out. Well, I didn't eat it. It was just growing from my cells.
Was it like a plant?
No, it was just part of my body, but it was a part that wasn't supposed to be there.
Tara's kids may still be too young to really grasp what's going on or to fully know what cancer is. Shoot, most adults don't even understand. Tara herself didn't really know what chemo was until she went through it. And she's still very much working through how to parent in the shadow of cancer. Tell me this, every cancer diagnosis I'm aware of changes people in a certain way, it changes them as a partner, it changes them as a worker, it changes them as a parent.
It changes you. I mean, it definitely changes you fundamentally as a person. And, some people like to say all for the better. I don't think that is true for me. I think it's hard. It makes you more worried. It makes you more anxious, probably makes you more overprotective. But it also makes you more grateful, more appreciative, maybe more loving and more patient and kind, and trying to live in the moment as much as humanly possible. I mean, we all strive for that. It's very hard to do, but I try to keep bringing myself back to that, because I think it's the little things that kids do remember, and they will remember down the line. Yeah. It's, usually not the big trips and the expensive gifts and things like that, but it's the small, quality time.
What are some of the small things you truly appreciate?
We have lots of snuggle time at night, and we all get in the bed together and snuggle and chat and talk about our days and play a little game where we trace something on each other's backs. Okay, nighttime game?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll trace something on your back and you try to guess what it is.
Is it a goose? Is it an animal? Is it Squishmallow? Is it my creeper?
Nope.
Is it Cowie? False food.
No.
Mad Libs.
Yes, it was Mad Libs.
This is so quick.
Good job. And then I put them in their own beds, and so we say our prayers and, just have a little bit of love. I call it pouring love into them, where I say, I'm so lucky that I get to be your mom, and you're such a great kid in so many ways.
You are so kind and funny and creative and hardworking. I love you very much. Good night.
And I hope that's what stays with them as they get older, no matter what happens.
I have no doubt in my mind that the love Tara pours into her kids will stick with them as they grow up, and that no matter what the test results and scans show, Tara and her family will support and hold each other up and make it through whatever the next step is. 2 days after we talked, Tara finally got the results.
I was waiting to hear back from my oncologist and hadn't heard anything. So I actually checked directly into the portal. And of course, it says your results are in, and then you have to click through so many different screens to get to the actual PDF that says your results. So my heart was pounding the whole time. And it was circulating tumor DNA not detected. So it was a huge, huge relief.
She instantly felt a physical difference.
When you have that level of anxiety and that knowledge that your life could change in an instant, you have this knot basically in your chest. And as soon as I saw the results, I just felt it release completely.
Tara was alone when she got the results, so she immediately called her partner and then her sister.
And we cried and talked, and then I went for a walk and had a really nice lunch out in the sunshine.
So, with the results in, Tara is good. For now.
I try not to think about it. I try not to worry. I tell myself all the things I need to say to get through to the next scan. I'm going to do my best to live a full, wonderful, anxiety-free, happy life until the next time I need to do one of these scans right before Thanksgiving.
Squeezed is a Lemonada Media original. I'm your host, Yvette Nicole Brown. Lisa Fu and Hannah Boomershine are our producers. Muna Danish is our senior producer. Ivan Karayev is our engineer. Our theme music is by Andy Kristen's daughter, with additional music by APM Music. Jackie Danziger is our VP of Narrative Content. Executive producers are me, Yvette Nicole Brown, Jessica Cordova-Kramer, and Stephanie Whittles-Wax. This show was created in partnership with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, a leading national philanthropy dedicated to taking bold leaps to transform health in our lifetime and pave the way together to a future where health is no longer a privilege, but a right. Follow Squeeze wherever you get your podcasts or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership.